Okay, so today we're going to learn about solving systems of inequalities. Okay, so if the inequality has a y, you need to solve for that y first. Then graph and shade. Okay, so what are you going to shade? If you have a situation when you have that the y is greater than or greater than equal, then you're going to shade above your situation, okay? What's above meaning here? Okay, so above you are going to basically graph, draw whatever is on top of this situation. So basically this area, okay, if it's greater than, which means that you are not including that line, but that's your boundary. On the other hand, if you have y greater or equal, you are going to also shade the above area, but in this situation you realize that I'm including that line, okay? So that's the difference. If you have a situation like this, it's going to be here, it's above this one, here you have your above section, okay? If you have something like this, what do you have? You have all this situation, all this area that it's on top of it. If you have a situation like this, you know that it's going to be all this area and your boundary is going to be those lines, okay? So similarly, you know that you need to shade the below area, okay? If you have y less than or y less or equal, similarly the less than is going to be dotted line, therefore what you are going to shade is going to be the bottom, and you know that you are not going to include the line. Similarly here you are going to shade the bottom and you are going to include the line. Going to this example, you have that below is the part that you want. If you have a situation like this, you know that this is the part that you want. Like this is the part that I want, okay? So hopefully it's pretty clear now with the greater than, above, less than, below, okay? So sometimes it's not going to be as user-friendly and you're going to be like, oh, there's no y, so there's only x. So remember, the x is right and left, so it's going to be kind of like the same. The only thing that changes is that when you have x greater than or equal, it's going to be right, okay? So you need to shade the right side, meaning you need to shade this part or this part, okay? The equal and the non-equal, they stay the same. This one you are not including the line, this one you are, okay? And when you have less than, it's going to be shading the left side, and you solve it for x, you are going to shade the left side, okay? So this is the part that you are going to shade in that situation, okay? Now let's move on to these examples, okay? So the first thing that you realize is that these two equations, they are very user-friendly because you see that they are in the slope-intercept form, which is pretty nice. So let's look at the first one, okay? So you have that the intercept is going to be the +2, so you have this point. After that, you are like, okay, my slope is negative 1/3, okay? So I'm going to move 1 down and then 3, okay? Similarly, you have the situation, okay? So I'm like, okay, I can do a pretty good sketch of the situation here, okay, with my ruler. I kind of like always use my ruler here, okay? So you have something like this, a little bit off, but no, it's okay. Okay, so we have the situation, but then you're like, okay, I'm not including it, okay? So we need to shade, okay? That one needs to be dotted, okay? So I'm going to dot my line, so you see that I'm not including that line, okay? Okay, now that it's dotted, let's look at the second one. The second one, you know that the y-intercept is -3, which is over here. Okay, so after that you are like, okay, so what other point I have? You plug the one, and then you have that. When you plug 1 here, what do you have? You have that it's going to be -6, okay? So it's going to be here, so it's going to be very steep, okay? I would plug, I don't know, -1, that you know that it's going to be the intercept, okay? And then you realize about the situation here, okay? So let me just try to do it now. This one is going to be shaded, okay? I'm going to include that one. That's why I'm doing it darker. Okay, now the first one that you see here, it's above, so it's going to be all this area. The second one, it's also above, so it's going to be all this area. Okay, so the areas that intersect in this situation are going to be basically this part. Okay, what is above both. Okay, so that's the area that we care about in this situation. Now let's look at another example here. So this one is also pretty user-friendly because you see that you have your y-intercept, which is -3. Okay, and after that you have that if we plug, let's say, -5 into this one, you are going to have that that's +2 minus 3, so it's going to be -1. Okay, so you have a situation like this. Okay, moreover, I'm going to just plug randomly -10 there. Okay, if you plug -10, that's going to be 4 minus 3 is going to be 1. Okay, so you have the situation. With those 3 points, I think we can do a really good graph. Please note that this is the equal, so you do have that one completely dark. Okay, so you have a situation like this. Okay, let's make it longer. Okay, so the other one that you have over here, you know that the one is going to be an intersect. Okay, and then you have that the slope is 2/5, meaning that one is going to be increasing because it's positive. Okay, so what you are going to do here, well, I'm going to plug the 5 just because. Okay, so if you plug 5, you know that it's going to be 3. Okay, if you want more points, I don't know, I would plug the -5 if you want to. The -5, it would give you that it's -2 plus 1, it's -1, so it would be here. Okay, so you realize that we have this situation. It's equal, therefore it's going to be shaded. Okay, so you have this situation. Now let's analyze what we have. This one, okay, which is the one that goes down, it's above. Okay, this one, it's going to be below, so it's the area in between the above and below, so it's this area that we have over here. Okay, that's the area of interest. Okay, and you're going to tell me, how in the world that's my work? Well, you are shading areas, so that's basically your work. Okay, so the area shaded is your solution in both. So for these problems, in addition to graphing, you know the inequalities that they are giving you, they are asking you more stuff. Which points listed below are included in the solution set of this system of inequalities? Okay, and they give you several points. Okay, so first, before we answer this question, we actually need to graph this. Okay, so let's start with this one. You are like 2x minus 3y less than -6, and you realize, hey, that one is not in my slope-intercept form, and it's not. Okay, so we need to fix that issue. Okay, so to fix it, you know that we can just solve for y. Okay, so you divide -3, divide -3, you fix the side, so you have that y is going to be greater, and -6 divided by -3 is 2. Plus, and then -2 divided by -3 is +2/3x. If we want to rewrite it as the slope-intercept form, you know that you are going to write it as 2/3x plus 2. Okay, and we can graph that situation pretty simple. Okay, because you know that the intercept is going to be, the y-intercept is going to be 2. Moreover, you know, I don't know, we can plug the -3 here. If we plug the -3, we are going to know that that one is the x-intercept, actually. If I plug the 3, that's a really nice number as well, so you know that it's going to be 4. Okay, so with those 3 points, I can basically draw my line. Okay, you know that it's going to be dotted line. Why? Because you don't have the equal. Okay, you have a hard inequality, therefore it's going to be dotted. Okay, now what are you going to do if you see something like this with the absolute value? You're going to be like, oh, I remember that from last unit. I know that this one is the intersection of x is less or equal than 5 and basically x greater or equal than -5. Okay, so you're like, oh, how can I draw that? Well, you know that x equals 5 is going to be a line here. Okay, so let's graph that one. Okay, so that one is going to be hard because you have the equals. Okay, so that one is going to be hard. Then you have another one here at -5. Okay, also it's going to be hard, same situation. You know that you are including both lines. So what do you have so far? We have the part that it's above the y, which is this part. And then the one that it's in between the situation, which is this one. Okay, so basically what you have is this above this line, but in between these two. Okay, so I'll do it with a highlighter once we actually finish with this one. Now you realize, oh, I have a third one. Okay, so we have the y-intercept, which is over here. Then, I don't know, you can plug any number that you want. If you want, you can plug the, I don't know, the 2. If you plug the 2 there, you know that it's going to be actually huge. Okay, well, hugely small. So that one would be here. Okay, if I plug the -2, then that's going to be my x-intercept. Okay, so you have a situation like this. Okay, and now you're going to dot that line. Why? Because I'm not including the line. Okay, so you have this situation. It's not very dotted, so let me get my eraser and make sure that I'm dotting my line correctly. Okay, so once you have that, okay, you realize, okay, so it was above, it's in between this one, and it's also above the other one. So basically you have all this area. Okay, more specifically, if we use a marker, let me use a marker so it's super clear for you. It's going to be here, 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 and let's graph it. It's going to be all that highlighted area. Okay, now let's answer the questions that you have at the bottom. Okay, so which points listed below are included in the solution set? You are like, okay, 0, 6, where's 0, 6? 0, 6 is over here. Okay, 0, 6 is over here. So what happens here? This is a yes. Okay, so this one I want. Then you are like -2, 3, where's -2? And then comma 3, it's pretty much inside. Okay, so this one is a yes. Okay, so far so good, right? Then you are like -3, okay, comma 0. So here, is that point part of the highlighted part? Absolutely not. Okay, then you move on to 5, 2. Okay, so 5, 2, not even close. Okay, that's a no-no. Okay, and that's how we solve this equation. Let's move on to the one that we have over here.